Welcome to SpongeBob Games Part 2! Thank you. In this video, I'm only covering 2 games, but as I get more into the racing games, they're getting longer and longer, so I'll go more in depth on each one we have today and give an overall rating. I also had to skip ahead a couple games because I still can't get the old Windows SpongeBob games to work, but I'm hoping I'll be able to cover them all together in a future video. Some of them look really weird, so I'm actually super excited. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is one of the most popular SpongeBob games out there, and it even got a remake recently. It was also on PS2 and Xbox, and so is the other game I'll show today, but I grew up with a GameCube, so I'm just going to do that. First of all, this game took me forever because downloading this game and then figuring out the controls on a computer sucked. Keyboard controls aren't the game's fault, so I'm not deducting points or anything. I also planned on streaming this game while I gathered footage, but as soon as I started the tutorial, I knew the whole stream would just be me being frustrated with my keyboard. Right off the bat, the music is nice, kind of bumping. The initial level music loops so fast, it starts to melt your brain really quickly. The Jellyfish Fields music is nicer, but every once in a while, the game will just smack you in the face with some awesome battle theme or the song for the slides. Visuals are nice for the era, though it's nowhere near the likes of Wind Waker or Super Mario Sunshine. That's not surprising at all. The level design is surprisingly wide and open, and there's tons of collectibles. Enemies are satisfying to hit. Hitting a golden spatula is a nice little animation. There are lots of funny references to the show, like in pictures on the walls, and some unique new visual gags, like Squidward's sculpture of himself as a moose on the wall. But most of the time, the huge spaces in the level just feel empty and underused. The star of this game, the dialogue, is very witty. Right after the tutorial, the game immediately starts with a burn I'm going to be using myself from now on. The voice acting itself is good, but the talking animations are super generic and soulless. SpongeBob does the same doofy grin whenever he speaks, and it doesn't look like anything out of the show. Why is Mr. Krabs' voice actor different?
Good thing, too. That monster has been stinging all my good customers in their...
SpongeBob has some fun and unique bubble-related moves, and even with the keyboard, he controls well on the ground. Mermaid Man is also wrong! No, not really. It's still bad, though.
Friends! What? Where?
This is super random, but why is Jellyfish Caves not a cave at all? I mean, it turns into one later, but right off the bat, it really confused me. You also play as Patrick, who can throw different kinds of fruit, but his normal attack range is awful, and you almost always end up getting hit before you hit anything. The throwing mechanic is pretty janky, and you're supposed to stack the fruit in some segments, but it disappears in like 3 seconds, so whenever these parts come up, I just groan. They give you the option to play as either character, but it keeps you from moving forward with the wrong character, so it's kind of pointless. Bosses are pretty typical platformer fare. You run, dodge attack, hit boss. It's not bad, but it's so generic. At least some of the boss designs, concepts, and the cutscenes around them are unique and funny, sometimes. And again, some of the battle themes are so good, I was unironically listening to them days after playing the game. Boss music broke on the first boss for me, though, and it just kept playing the mellow level music. It was kind of odd. King Jellyfish, the first boss, hums his own level's music during his cutscene. It was pretty funny. And in general, he was kind of glitchy. But it was a fun boss fight. Everyone in downtown Bikini Bottom is dying, apparently. New York, am I right? Spongeball is one of the power-ups, and it's pretty goofy and fun, but it's also crazy hard to control and wigs out every once in a while. You can also play as Sandy, who's introduced completely unceremoniously, unlike Patrick, who has his own cutscene. And Sandy can pretty much tails fly anywhere, and unlike the other characters, she works exactly as you would expect. She's a superhero in this game. She kicks absolute butt, flies, has an amazing range attack, and even uses a grappling hook. Sandy only really has a few shining moments in the show, but she's insane in this game. Each new robot is introduced by absolutely killing some random NPC fish, and I kind of love it. When you fall off a building or something, the hand from the cartoon brings the character back. It's genius. There's just a bunch of little details like that that make this game really funny and charming at times. If you want an idea of the weird quality drops in this game, here's a clip from when Spongebob is bungee jumping. Not only is his crack out and about, but look at his underwear. I wanted to play more of this game, but this video already took forever to make, and I figure I can play the remaster somewhere down the line, maybe on a stream. SpongeBob the movie, the game, the movie, the SpongeBob game based on the first SpongeBob movie. Okay, I'll stop. And I played the GameCube version as a kid, so that's the one I went back to for this video. No, I kind of have no memory of it. I still love the movie, so let's see how the game does. The first thing I noticed was a commercial for the game playing after a few seconds when I was messing with my recording software.
Get in touch with your inner Bob.
Then when the game actually started, I was kind of shocked they were using screenshots from the actual movie. The first cutscene followed the movie exactly. In fact, when they began to deviate from it, it was kind of jarring. Not bad, just weird. The right actor for Mr. Krabs finally, as well as the rest of the main cast as far as I can tell. The stat upgrade system, which is super interesting for a game like this. I don't know if I've seen it like this before. With each level up, you upgrade one of your attacks or your health. The XP you collect is in the form of dumbbells, which just oddly feels really out of place, considering how often they joke about how weak SpongeBob is in the show. Other than that, it plays a lot like Battle for Bikini Bottom. There are a lot of reused assets, which isn't surprising at all. I find it interesting that they didn't keep the health items the same, though. They use the weirdest screen for an upgrade. It's just a JPEG of a Krabby Patty or of SpongeBob or Patrick with half-hearted fanfare. You collect Goofy Goober coins to get new moves, but the game is super strict about getting them. You have to get every single one available to even progress the game, including these infuriating wave combat coins. The screenshots from the movie start to feel really out of place after a while. You recap a lot of the movie, which just makes it evidently clear that this is for people who have already seen the movie, multiple times even. They kind of made me mad that they skipped some of the best parts. Some of the best jokes they just kind of gloss over and explain what's going on. Also wanted to point out that instead of belly bopping in this one, Patrick spins around like an absolute maniac. Pretty cool. Started out with way less in the way of attacks and special moves in general. The music kept stopping before cutscenes, which terrified me the first time. It got super quiet all of a sudden. In the second-ish level of the game, you help the drunken Patrick and SpongeBob beat the ever-living crap out of a bunch of minimum-wage ice cream employees. I don't really have anything else to say about the level, I just had that realization while playing. Kinda dark, but I like it. This is nitpicky, but Mindy is just introduced way too soon in the game and without any indication of who she is. The loading screen has some little quips from the movie, but they're out of context and not nearly as funny just sitting in yellow text. Also, there are some really random lines of dialogue that I have no idea where they came from. Some of the battle upgrades are actually really good, like Patrick's roll that pretty much makes him invincible at like level 3. The music is nicer on average, but there's nothing really special. Driving the paddy wagon ended up being a fun change of pace. Simpsons hit and run energy, and that game rocks. The character talking animations aren't as strange in this one. The weirdest thing about the story is that they keep moving from where they are in the movie back to Bikini Bottom to follow the Plankton plot. Like when they're supposed to be out in the middle of the desert driving, they're all of a sudden back at Bikini Bottom and stopping Plankton's brainwashing towers. The two hillbilly bully guys just straight up die in this game too. Definitely a change that they should have had in the movie. It was pretty hilarious. This sliding tub level was actually really fun. It kind of shocked me that it controlled so well. Then you move on to the bubble-hating bar from the movie.
I'm sorry, Patrick. You don't have enough Goofy Goober tokens for me to give you the smash. You'll need the smash to get the key to the paddy wagon back.
It was at this point that I think I got soft-locked, and I didn't want to deal with resetting because this video was already taking over a month with all of the things that I had problems getting working. Including myself. I got the general feel for each game, so here's my rundown of the 2 GameCube SpongeBob games I played for this video. They were pretty dang fun. I think I enjoyed the SpongeBob movie game more just because of the better fighting elements and the tighter, more focused level design. It ended up making a better impression for me than Battle of Bikini Bottom's much better story and cutscenes, for whatever reason. There's some weird glitches with the audio and getting soft blocked, but I can't honestly put all the blame on the game itself. The wave challenges in the movie game were worse, but the paddy wagon and tub slide segments were way more fun than pretty much anything thrown at me in Battle for Bikini Bottom. Battle for Bikini Bottom is a classic, and it gets a decent amount of extra points for being a unique story in the world of my favorite cartoon, but I found myself smiling and having more fun in the movie game. The glitches in Battle for Bikini Bottom were a bit more out of place and weird, like playing the wrong music in the very first boss battle. That's not to say Battle for Bikini Bottom wasn't fun. It was. The best part by far was playing as Sandy, but there was also so much witty and fun dialogue, and SpongeBob's attacks and stuff were a lot more interesting in that game. Overall, these games aren't polished in any way, shape, or form, but they're goofy and fun anyway. Besides the odd difficulty spikes in some areas, these games are pretty breezy, and they keep you moving along with new abilities that change things up and keep it interesting. Humor is the most unique part about these platformers, and that hasn't really changed for each one. Somehow, almost every SpongeBob game that I know of is any serious gamer's nightmare with all of the glitches, but if you play it with low expectations, there are some moments that will surprise you, and you get that little spark of joy in your chest that makes you feel like a little kid again. Definitely think I'm going to return to these, just for the fun of it. Thank you for watching part 2 of SpongeBob Games. I will probably take a break to work on another kind of video, but if this does well, I'll definitely do a part 3. So if you want to see that, please like and subscribe to see all the videos I have planned for the future. I have some weird, fun, and weird ideas coming ahead. See ya!